Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with one-on-one fitness and wellness coach Justin McClintock. His Feel Strong Fitness builds and rebuilds strong people so they can reach their goals without wasting time and without compromise. Getting stronger, getting out of pain, and doing everything you want is what he wants. He solves individual problems and loves crafting unique solutions. Getting out of pain, restoring lost movement patterns, improving flexibility and mobility, as well as life-changing strength and conditioning is exactly what he does. Enjoy this interview.
Hey, thanks for taking a minute out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
So before we get into your life and kind of peel back some of the layers of who you are and what makes you tick, I'm curious how you survived COVID. How did you get through that time period? And how has it changed the way that you not only live your life, but the way that you conduct business now?
So I had an advantage because what I do now, I do custom fitness and movement work with people. And I was already doing a significant amount of that online when COVID hit. So my pivot was not nearly as significant as a bunch of my colleagues. I already had all of the infrastructure, all of the software. I was really good at delivering fitness and movement solutions online. The biggest change we had to do was no one was in a gym anymore. And so I was doing a lot of, shooting videos with water jugs and sandbags and things like that. But that was actually, other than the stress associated with it and keeping people moving, it was a little bit of an easier pivot for a lot of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally does make sense. So to get to the essence of who you are and exactly what you do, I want to put you at a career day at an elementary school in front of second or third graders. And one of the kids looks up at you and says, "What do you do for a living?" How would you answer them?
I give people their life back. I help people live a life fully. That, I think, would be my answer to a second grader. We overwhelmingly, the people who come to Feel Strong, my company, have had a really significant setback. They've been living with chronic pain. They're coming back from an injury. They used to be fit, and then life, kids, career, COVID all got in the way, and they don't understand how to get back to being able to say yes to everything they want to do in their life. I don't work with professional athletes. That's a choice on purpose. I work with people who want to be able to go on a hike with their kids, want to be able to get on the ground and play with them, don't want to have to worry about running up the stairs for, a couple of flights to get the laundry if that's what's required in their life. And they're not sure about that anymore, and they're not quite sure. They're stuck between healthcare and fitness. Neither one actually helps them very much or has their solutions, and I do.
So let's say when you were in the third grade, what was your dream? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, honestly, in third grade, it was a performer. I wanted to be an actor and a performer for the longest time. So
did you ever do that?
Yeah, totally. That's actually what that's what my undergrad is in. All of my education before I became like a working adult was in theater and performance and all of that.
So it sounds like you're living the dream that you had when you were a kid and even now.
Exactly. And Joe, people don't understand that. When I go see colleagues or go to a reunion and I tell them what I do, they say, "Oh, that's an interesting change. How did that happen?" It's really not that big of a change, especially because I am performing all of the time, certainly one-on-one with a client or running a class, even on a Zoom call with a consult. You're playing your character as we all do. Combine that with my first career was doing the technical side of theater. I did lighting for big events in Broadway and things like that, and getting, a whole bunch of people to do exactly what you want them to do in a very precise way, whether or not they're particularly interested in the outcome for you, is a skill unto itself. Those logistics, the people management, all of that absolutely prepared me for what I do now.
So let's go back to the beginning of your life. Talk to me a little bit about where you were born and raised and how these seeds of performance and fitness and health became your life as it is now.
Absolutely. So I grew up in and around Boston. That's where my parents are from and family is from. So we had a lot of family around there. And my dad has always been a runner. It was his release. I'm sure how he got out of the house. But from the very beginning, we would, drive the car to meet him at the Boston Marathon 5 or 6 points along the way in this weird circuitous route we figured out so we could keep meeting him. So that movement as the most normal thing was always part of life. I did some sports and stuff. I was never really good at it, but was always encouraged to be doing things, not just getting kicked out of the house, but finding ways to organize games with the neighborhood kids, trying new skills, trying weird classes, going to gymnastics, even if I was the only boy there. That kind of work has always been a part of my life. And I think, I mean, this is well-trod ground, but showing your kids movement and showing young people that it's a normal thing and something that you would always enjoy will always be telling them to do it. Kids will mimic that movement even later in life, even if you think that they hate you and think you're not cool or are fighting with you for the rest of their life.
Who's been a role model or an inspiration hero for you in your life?
There's been several. I mean, certainly Dad started it. Dad and Mom, I love them both. We're happy to have a great relationship with them. Mom is definitely the performer, and Dad is definitely the health movement guy. So I sort of combined those two. I had a fifth grade teacher, Mr. Brennan, who was really important, who let me go off on my own, separate from the class, and write plays and create things for other people to do, and put me in charge of big projects. And then after that, the second gym owner I ever worked for gave me a very long leash and let me kind of get my own education and find new courses and design new programs for people at her gym that she owned, that she was making money off of, and allowed me to be really creative and develop some ways of working with people that were a little bit non-traditional but extremely effective.
I would imagine in the afterglow, now that we're coming out of COVID, or the world's waking up more, however we want to term it, I would imagine that your business spiked because people, just needed that help coming out of it.
Yes, hugely. And it's very interesting. Something about so many people needed help in COVID, and so many people got some version of one-on-one help, that I think it actually normalized and exposed more people to that kind of expertise. Like how efficient and effective it can be if one expert is paying attention to you as opposed to you following a template that was written for 10,000 people, and how incredibly effective that can be, especially if you have 20 minutes and you're stuck in a corner and the only thing you have is, the other side of your office at your work from home situation. Yes, you can get fit. Yes, you can feel better. Yes, you can improve all of these things. So it has taken off in a very pleasant way.
So if you could meet anybody alive on the planet right now and spend a little time with them, who would that be?
Oh, man, that's a great question that I don't have an instant answer to. I think I'd like to meet someone that maybe I don't totally agree with, but other people find inspirational. I think, do you know who David Goggins is?
I've heard the name, yeah.
He's a motivational person and a motivational speaker, and he does lots of running, and he is very much a get up at 4 a.m. and suffer, and this is how you do it. And I am sort of the other side of the spectrum of that kind of like trainer and inspiration. I'm very much not a hardcore guy. I'm very much finding ways to wrap things in people's lives the way they are. But I think we see eye to eye on discipline, creating habits, finding ways to motivate people and kind of get them moving, not for this week, not for a 21-day challenge, but fundamentally changing people's lives. And I think talking with someone like that, when we have very different kind of methods and approaches, would be really interesting and really productive. And especially in this, the fitness world is as divided as the rest of the world between people, in their own camps and silos. And if we could get these people talking to each other, I think we could actually be more productive and help more people.
Speaking of motivators, you have to be motivated to help other people get to that place. So there's a lot of onus on you. So my question is, every day you wake up, we have all these things that we look forward to and want to get done. What is it that ultimately drives and motivates you in your life?
Being able to see the change happen in front of you is incredible. And especially working one-on-one with people the way I do, both online and in person, I can click a button and see this history of everything we did. I just had a conversation with someone yesterday who's 6 months post-back surgery, and our first quote-unquote workout together, they were hanging onto a steel upright and basically slightly bending their knees, and that was their quote-unquote squat. And it was very fearful and a little bit painful, and we were just kind of testing the waters. And yesterday we were deadlifting kettlebells and doing full squats and walking all of this weight around. And at the end of the session, they said, that wasn't a great day. I feel really weak today. And I was able to push a button and call up a video of them 6 months ago, trembling, hanging on to something, bending their knees slightly, and you just eyes light up and they realize the progress that has been made and the kind of possibility in front of them. And being able to show people that change, not theoretically, not if you learn this, it'll make you a better person in 4 years, but insert stimulus. Look, this is what just happened. This is what we changed today. This is what we changed this week. This is what we changed this month. And as long as you're diligent and pay attention and adjust for people, it keeps working.
At the end of that said day, how do you quantify a good day? How do you look back and say that day worked for me?
I call my company Feel Strong for a purpose. I really care how the rest of their life is going. I'm a little indifferent if you squat 10 more pounds than you did a week ago, if your knees hurt and you don't have any energy and you're finding it hard to maintain your relationships because you're spending so much time in the gym. So I take a very holistic view of a person, but they like the way they perform, they like the way they feel, they embrace the way that they look, and they're able to do everything they want to in their lives. If they can keep saying yes without any hesitation, then that's a huge success.
So if you could have, let's say you have a dream tonight, you run into your 20-year-old version and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on what you've lived and the wisdom you've gained, what would you tell that version of you?
Zoom out, 10,000-foot view. Don't get so lost in the trees. Don't get so lost in the details. I used to be very, very anxious about every moment-to-moment interaction and was I doing enough? And, especially do people like me? Do people think I'm good? None of that matters. Like, chase value and chase quality. Like, do the best you can possibly do, whether or not it's the best in the room. If you're already better than everyone else, still chase to do better. If everyone's better than you, great. You're in the right room. Those are exactly the people you want to be surrounded by. Keep reaching, and don't let other people weigh you down, and don't get so lost in those tiny details, because life is bigger than that.
So when you look back on your life and think about everything that's happened, what are you the proudest of?
I mean, real answer, somehow tricking my wife into spending time with me, because I don't deserve her, and I still don't quite understand how I got that lucky. After that, being able to affect change and affect change for so many individuals. I mean, I'm thousands of clients in now and still have relationships with people who haven't paid me a cent for 5 years, but send people to me, update me on their lives, send me pictures of them playing with their kids or their kids. I got a video of a kid writing a workout for his mom the other day, and it's because she demonstrates this movement and she's doing stuff with him that exactly what I gave her. She now has a tool set. She's completely autonomous. And that, by the way, is a victory for any real coach or trainer. Like, creating autonomous clients is the ultimate goal, and I'm incredibly proud of that.
What's been the best client response, fan letter you've ever gotten?
Oh man, the kids doing workouts is a really good one, but it's the things outside of the gym. I got one maybe 6 months ago from someone who was on vacation, and it was a picture from the top of a mountain, a very tall hike. He said, did the whole hike, got up here, absolutely no pain. It was a 5-hour hike. We had trained for it at some point, and a year before that would have been impossible. And that's freedom, right? That's, they did all the work, but we worked together, and is unlocking a key and literally giving someone physical freedom, and that just lights you up. I have a little folder. I suggest everyone do this. I have a folder on my phone and a little photos folder, photo album, and I call it For a Rainy Day. And when those nice things come in, put them there, because you're going to have a bad day, and being able to look back on that stuff and remember how good it was is really important.
So, Justin, everyone out there has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your clients, fans, that ultimately you live your life. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm okay. I think I try really hard. I don't think I'm as smart as everyone thinks I am, but I will smash my head against a problem until I can unlock it and understand it. I think that's it. I think I'm diligent. I think I'm loyal. I think I'm extremely transparent and extremely honest, and that has taken me a very far way.
So if anyone out there wants to learn more about you, delve into your world, hire you, anything related to you, where do they go?
The website is feelstrong.me. I'm very active on Instagram at feelstrongfit, and I answer every single message that comes in.
Beautiful. Justin, this has been great, man. Thank you for opening up. Thanks for your time. Good luck with everything.
Joe, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, business, fitness, spirituality, music, and more from around the globe. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.